Hey, quick video today. I will just be discussing things. The goal of this channel is to put a stop to stigma. So today we're going to be looking at a book called The War of Art, and it seems pretty good, right? It has Robert McKee on this version that I'm looking at. So it says, The War of Art, break through the blocks and win your inner creative battles. As a writer and artist in general, I think most people into that kind of creative field are immediately attracted to this type of book. And it looks awesome, right? The War of Art, it talks about resistance. It talks about fighting your procrastination. In psychology, when somebody's a perfectionist, they tend to procrastinate because they fear messing up. I want to explain how successful this book is. To this day, if I look here, so this book was made 2002. Okay, wow. So it's almost 2 decades old at this point, by Steven Pressfield. That's a long time. People like Marco Bucci, which I love his channel. He's a painter who explains how to paint for beginners, for professionals, for everything. This book has been mentioned in Brad Reed's creative writing podcast. It's all over. It's extremely successful even to this day. And that's because it does address a problem that's quite prevalent, especially with creative fields. It's that problem, again, of procrastination because of perfectionism. Basically, the story or the book is just do it in the end. That's also fine, and it seems fine. I was quite interested in this. With Robert McKee's story, Stephen King's own writing, and other books and pieces of information that I need in order to become a better writer, I was, of course, in the beginning of my writing journey, extremely interested in this book. So I downloaded it, and I'm glad I did. At first glance, it has almost 10,000 ratings on Amazon. All of those ratings seem to be positive, with a 4.6 out of 5. That is extremely impressive. It's almost unanimous that this book is great, right? What do the bad reviews say? Oh my god, somebody wrote, what a load. Here's this book in a nutshell. What do you want to do? Have discipline and do it. I just saved you $10. You're welcome. So, people are saying this book is a written equivalent of Shia LaBeouf's Just Do It motivational speech. Again, that's fine. Well, why do I have such a problem with this book? It's awesome, right? Robert McKee, one of the greatest teachers for story of all time, he vouches for this book. In fact, in this version, he's saying that Steven Pressfield wrote it for him. And yes, Steven Pressfield is a boomer. Okay, so I was reading this book and I was quite happy with it, actually. And I know that just do it seems like an easy thing to do or to say, but sometimes as a writer, especially when we doubt ourselves, when we don't know if what we're doing is any good, it can be extremely helpful. So, what's wrong with it? Well, I find it here. It is around, and this is the version where it's forwarded by Robert McKee. What page is this? What page is this? Page 39 in this version. Let's read it together. The following use is for critique and commentary and is of fair use. Resistance and self-medication. Do you regularly ingest any substance, controlled or otherwise, whose aim is the alleviation of depression, anxiety, etc.? I offer the following experience. I once worked as a writer for a big New York ad agency. Our boss used to tell us, invent a disease. Come up with a disease, he said. We could sell the cure. Attention deficit disorder, seasonal affect disorder, social anxiety disorder. These aren't diseases. They're marketing ploys. Doctors didn't discover them. Copywriters did. Marketing departments did. Drug companies did. Anxiety and depression and anxiety may be real, but they can also be resistance. When we drug ourselves to blot out our soul's call, we are being good Americans, exemplary consumers. We're doing exactly what TV commercials and pop materialist culture have been brainwashing us to do since birth. Instead of applying self-knowledge, self-discipline, delayed gratification, and hard work, we simply consume a product. On page 39, you might wonder, what does this have to do really with writing? Nothing. He's an asshole. So when my role models like McKee and Marco Bucci and Brad Reed mention this book, it's like they didn't read it or they just don't suffer these ailments. I'm somebody who has, well, one of those that he said wasn't real, social anxiety. And I had it before I knew what that was at all. I had the symptoms and it has ruined my life. It has ruined my possibility to make friends in person because of my fear. And yet this old white man says it is not real. And this is the problem. And I'm not sure if there's any videos actually talking about this. I was watching one of Marco Bucci's videos. Pardon me, I'm not sure which one it was. I don't remember. But he mentioned this book. Again, this book presents itself with good ideas, but it is really a wolf in sheep's clothing. It pretends to have this great knowledge, yet this person is gaslighting. And he's basically saying that what people suffer from are not real, despite scientists and neuroscientists proving its existence. Let me repeat that. There are studies proving the existence of ADHD. There are studies proving the existence of all of these disorders. And as somebody who's on, well, I won't say the name because he's going to say I'm trying to sell it, but I'm on a certain medication and it saved my life. I was having serotonin so low that I had migraines every day and just struggling to stay alive in general. This person, and I try to, like, if I... Steven Pressfield at Twitter. I tried to... So, it says, and he's quite old. Yes. Best-selling author of The War of Art, as if he's proud of that, and Gates of Fire. So, it appears that his Twitter is run by some sort of marketer. He has an Instagram, what? What is this? Yes, it appears that, he's verified and everything. Now, there are some reviews really calling him out, but we really need something that's a bit louder, so I'm trying this video. I want people to see it when they Google his book, because it's disgusting, okay? It just is. And since his book has been out for nearly 2 decades, not once have I seen, at least to my knowledge, an apology, an edited version where this BS is cut out. Nothing. It shows you that you could just say anything you want, really, and nobody really cares. This has absolutely nothing to do with the struggles and plights of a writer. And any writers or artists who have any methods to alleviate their struggles, you can write your own book, and I guarantee it will sell better than this crap. This man needs a reality check. Just because you worked, sir, at some sort of ad agency and they told you to invent a disease does not mean that these disorders are not real. I believe that in the day of modern life, he may not understand how different it is from the time he grew up where they were churning butter or some shit. I don't fucking know. He looks like he's from the Dark Ages. It's not the same. And it's quite disgusting. A lot of people are standing up with reviews, but we also need to speak up about this because our favorite role models, our artists, our teachers, everybody who are just casually mentioning this book, and people like me and other people who suffer mental illness are disgusted and we feel put down. It's horrible to see the success of somebody who is just plain disgusting and, quite frankly, abusive even in his writing. My goal is for anybody that I look up to that mentions this book, or just anybody in general, will just say, oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't sure about the contents of that book. I take it back. I do not endorse this book. Seeing my favorite artists and writers recommend it just hurts because it shows that they don't really care. They just brush aside that very, very big statement. To say that these disorders are not real is a huge statement. It would be like me arguing that there's no scientific knowledge or evidence for evolution or something. That's great, but I would have to have proof. That is a huge statement in a book that just is off the subject. And quite frankly, if you don't stay on the topic of what you're writing about, are you really a good writer? It seems like a tangent. And to be honest, yes, I did stop reading at this part because it was just disgusting. There's also a part where he says Hitler did what he did because he didn't get into art school, and that's how important art and not resisting is. But there are other people who did not get into art school. Did they do that? No. And yes, he didn't explicitly say that, but he implied it very much so. And again, that's disgusting. Sounds like a Nazi sympathizer if I've ever seen one. Apparently there's a third part or something in the book where he talks about, I'm not sure if it was he's a god or, oh my god, these reviews had tears in my eyes when I was finished. Yeah, me too, from how disgusting he is. Oh, okay, so it appears he's delusional. In his book, he talks about how the world's full of angels. Listen, guys, you can't be in psychosis and talk about how these things are not real. They absolutely are. And I think that he needs help. And that's not an insult. Robert McKee, Marco Bucci, Brad Reed, anybody else who supports this disgusting book, you should apologize. We all look up to you as artists and writers trying to find ourselves. And this is not helping. You, as the owner of a platform with thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of followers, owe it to us an apology and to separate yourself from this book. And do not condone such crap. This is stigmatizing. It's disgusting. These creators I look up to, they are my role models. It hurts to support such a disgusting book. And there should be a lot more bad reviews on Amazon. Alright, I think I said enough about this nasty fucking disgusting. Can't write to Steven Pressfield because he's smart. He has a manager on his Twitter. I don't know how to contact him, but sir, to invalidate the suffering of millions of people, that is something Hitler would do. Did you get into art school, Steven? Alright. Bye.